Hey, welcome fitness friends, Mike Kohler here. In this live video, I want to go over like a back routine that you can do in the gym, to increase the strength of your back. If you're looking to put a little muscle on and you want to do it in a really safe way, we're going to go over a whole routine. I have a whole bunch of exercises already filmed. I'm going to pull into this live broadcast. But also, if you have any questions, pop them in the comment section. I can pull them into the video, answer all your questions. Plus, I'm going to hang around after I give this presentation. If you have any questions when it comes to fitness, health, weight loss, intermittent fasting, just put your questions in there. Plus, once again, I didn't announce that I was doing this live, but I think I'm going to start going live every Sunday, whether in the morning or in the afternoon, and hopefully we'll have more people, viewing these videos once I announce I'm going to be doing it. But I'm also, another thing I've been doing, I started an exercise library on the YouTube channel. I got about 7 or 8 videos on there now. I'm going to work up to 100 exercise demonstration videos on the channel. Check them out. It's going to be short form by 15 seconds, but you'll see I'm going to pull in 3 of the exercises within this video when we go over this whole back routine. Okay, and if anyone's out there, give me a thumbs up. Just let me know the sound, everything's coming through. You never know with these live broadcasts. But I think we got a couple of people I see. Okay, that's great. Okay, let's get started. Let's go over this back workout. First, I'll give you like a kind of a quick instruction on what I'm talking about. Then you'll see I'm going to pull in all these videos. This workout is pretty much, I get it more for people, say, over the age of 40, over the age of 45. I'm 58. So it's a real safe routine. You're going to safely strengthen your back without hurting yourself. And we're gonna work with primarily three different exercises. We're gonna be doing a seated cable row, right? We're gonna be doing a cable pullover with rope, and we're gonna be doing the lat pull down. 3 classic movements. You may not be familiar with the cable pullover, but I'll explain to you in great detail, with the videos. I'm going to want you to do 3 sets of these exercises, but in a specific order, because there is a synergy to it. Generally, when you're training your back, doing like the big compound movements like rowing or lat pull downs, it's your weaker links that give away, like your biceps or your forearms can give away before your lat does. But we're gonna kind of go in a specific order to kind of eliminate that, and you'll see what I mean when we get deeper into this. We're going to be doing the cable pullover, which doesn't involve the biceps, right after doing a big compound movement. But I'll go over it in integrated detail as we go, and we're not going to rest too much between sets. And this is a routine you're going to kind of do, so I would say twice a week. You can do it part of your upper body routine. If you're doing a classic split like legs, back, biceps, you can incorporate it on that day. But let's first go over the exercises in detail, and then I'm going to explain this routine. It'll make a lot more sense to you as we go. Okay, so this is what we got. And if anyone has any questions, let me know. Okay, the first movement I'd like you to do is the seated cable row. Okay, and let's go over the form. Let's first talk about my hand grip. See these grips I'm using? This is like a parallel grip. This is probably my favorite grip when it comes to training your back. And let me give you like a quick demonstration of what I mean. See, when your hands are in a parallel grip, it puts your biceps in a very strong position. For example, if you look at my bicep here, see when I'm in a they call this a supinated grip, when my palm of my hand is facing my bicep. See how my bicep lifts, but then when I go to a neutral grip, see it drops. Now a pronated grip, it really drops. So I'm creating slack in my bicep. You will be weaker if you're using a pronated grip when it comes to doing a rowing movement. For example, if you were doing a pull-up, like a chin-up, you'll always be stronger when your palms are facing you, as opposed to away. You can also be really strong with a parallel grip. I like this parallel grip. There's a bicep muscle of 𝙒𝘼𝙏𝙏, within your bicep. That's where you're working primarily when you're using a parallel grip, and it's probably my favorite grip for doing rows. Plus, my elbows are a little banged up. I'm 58 from doing so much training over the years, and playing a lot of sports. I broke my elbow skateboarding as a kid, in my teens. So I find this is a really good, comfortable grip to use, and I like these. I like these nylon straps. It enables me to just keep my elbows and my hands into a really, really smooth, comfortable position. So I really love this grip. Another thing you notice is that I'm not swaying forward and back. I'm pretending like there's a wall behind me. See how I'm keeping my back really straight. I'm not necessarily trying to arch my back. I have a nice neutral, normal curve in my lower back. But see how I'm keeping my whole body stable? I find that when a lot of people do this exercise, they like to rock all the way forward and all the way back. Not that that's wrong, but it's going to definitely, in my opinion, put more stress on your lower back. You're going to be using your hamstring. Like, you're not deadlifting, you're not doing an RDL, you're not doing a Romanian deadlift. You're trying to isolate the lats, and you're doing a seated row. So I like to keep the whole body somewhat in an isometric contraction, just stable, like stuck in this position. And then I'm just fully extending and driving my elbow straight back, keeping my chest high. Okay. And another thing you notice is that my neck, I'm not sticking my head out. My neck is somewhat packed, like I'm tucking my chin in. I think that's great for strength, great for the spine. So this is like my favorite form for a seated row. And if you want to watch this video after this video, you don't have to go through this whole video. This video is actually on the website. No, not on the website, on the YouTube channel under seated row. And it's just a quick 15-second video if you want to check that out. Okay, let's go to the next exercise. Okay, the next exercise is a standing cable pullover with rope. You may not be as familiar with this. This is typically done, this exercise, actually lying on a bench with a dumbbell. But I find that that could be a little tough on the shoulders, a little tough on the neck if you're getting older. I personally like to do these standing, and it's not a hard movement to do. Once you get it. At first, though, it could be a little tricky. You're pretty much standing, with your knees slightly bent. My back is straight. I'm hinging at the hips a little bit. I'm not arching my back. I'm keeping that normal curvature in my back. I'm keeping my chest high. Once again, I'm packing my neck a little bit. My arms are fully extended, and I'm just flexing and extending the arms. See, what I like about this movement so much is that it really hits the lats, really hits your back, but it doesn't really work your biceps and your forearms too much. So, for example, whenever you're, like I said earlier, whenever you're rowing, or whenever you're doing, say, a lat pull down, what you're going to do next, or doing a chin up, is generally not your big back, your big latissimus dorsi that fatigues. Generally your biceps or your grip that fatigues. So when you're training your back, if you can do some movements that don't involve the biceps, it's a great way to really give your back a great pump and a great workout. And we're going to talk about that more afterwards, how I'm going to want you to sequence it. Let's go over the last movement. This one you're probably familiar with. This is just a classic lat pull down, close grip. But once again, I'm using my favorite handles. I'm not using like a pronator grip on a wide bar or a supinator grip on the wide bar. I really like this. Once again, really nice, easy on the elbows. But once again, if you notice, my back is nice and straight. I'm not overly arching my back, just nice straight back, good hip hinge. You can't see this, but I'm actually on the balls of my feet, locking my knees up underneath this to give me a little support. Again, I'm tucking my chin in, packing my neck, keeping my neck nice and safe and stable. And then I'm just slowly pulling the weight down, doing a little pause on bottom, up, full extension. Okay, so these are the three movements, and I think these are three classic movements. I do this workout all the time. But let's go over the exact workout. So I gave you a little bit of a different camera angle here to check this out. Okay, so this is what I'm going to want you to do. So we got the three exercises, right? We got the seated row, we got the cable pull over, and we got the lat pull down. I like you to start off with one set of doing a seated cable row. Now I'm also going to assume that you're probably warmed up a little bit. For example, if you're training your back when you're training your entire upper body, like just doing an upper body day, I would definitely start with your biggest body parts first. So maybe let's say you started with chest and now you're ready to train your back. So you're already a little warmed up. But I'm still going to want you to do somewhat of a warm-up set. So we're going to do 20 repetitions of a seated row. Okay, on the light side, maybe 70% effort or so. This is a warm-up set, and then with no rest whatsoever, you're going to go right to a standing cable pullover. And why this works so well is that when you're doing the seated row, it's going to be most likely your biceps that fatigue. So if you can train your back by going to another movement that only really works your lats and doesn't work your biceps, you really can get a great pump, a great feel in your back. So we're going to do one set like that. Then the second set, we're going to increase the weight. Now you're getting into your work sets. Work sets meaning that you're starting to work a little bit harder. Maybe you're going to increase the weight, say 10, 15%, You're going to do 15 repetitions of seated row, no rest, right to the standing cable pullover. Okay, and then you're going to get to your third set, which is your final, like this is your true work set. This is like a little shy of muscle failure. They say this is your 90% effort set. So you're going to do 12 repetitions of seated row, really work hard on that last rep, and then no rest, go directly to your standing cable pullovers and do a real hard set there too. Okay, now you're probably going to be resting a minute between these supersets together, but no rest when you're doing this set. So for example, seated row, no rest, cable pullover, you're going to rest a minute and you're going to repeat that sequence 3 times. Okay, so even though you may say, oh Mike, you're doing 3, 6, 9 sets here, I still look at this as just doing 3 sets, even though you're doing 2 exercises within it. Okay, now the second sequence we're going to be doing, instead of doing the seated row, you're going to do the lat pull down. Same concept, 20 reps first as a warm-up, plus you're neurologically like patterning the motion. You'll actually be strong in the second set. And then with no rest whatsoever, standing cable pullover. Same thing, when you're doing a lat pull down, it's generally not your back that fatigues, it's generally your biceps will give away sooner. So if you can go from a lat pull down right to a cable pullover, incredible pump in your back. You're going to love it. It's going to feel amazing, right? So the second set, you're going to increase the weight, you're going to pyramid up, do 15 repetitions, pretty good effort on the last couple of reps, no rest, right to the cable pullover. Third and final set, your true work set, where you're going to go like pretty hard, 90% effort, right? You're going to do your 12 repetitions. That last rep's going to be pretty hard, no rest, right to the cable pullover. Okay, so let's review this whole thing so you really have it. Okay, seated row, no rest, cable pullover. You rest 1 minute. Repeat that 2 more times. Same thing here. Lat pull down, no rest, cable pullover. You rest 1 minute. You repeat that 2 more times. So these are like 6. Some people will use the term, I don't know, maybe I'm like old school. I would call this like supersets when you're doing 2 exercises of the same, 2 sets of the same exercise with no rest. So in my mind, it's just 6 sets. And if you did this routine, say twice a week, you'd be doing 12, say, total sets on your back, which I think is ideal for back training. A little bit of hypertrophy, get yourself stronger. So for example, if you're training your whole full body, you're doing a whole upper body routine, resistance training, say twice a week, this would be part of your upper body routine. Or let's say you're doing a classic split routine where maybe like 1 day a week you're doing your legs, back, and biceps. This would be on that day, and then the next day you're doing chest, shoulders, and triceps. Just a classic split that physique athletes would do or bodybuilders might do. This would be part of your part of your back day or part of your upper body day. Okay, and a couple of other notes here just so you really have it. You want to perform these movements, I think, relatively slow. 2 or 3 second rep cadence. You want to keep continuous tension on the muscle. If you're noticing that, there's no point. See, when I'm doing this, the cable pullover, I'm not going too high where the weight will be balanced. I'm not going, if you were doing a dumbbell pullover, there's multiple points within that movement where there would be no tension on the muscle. For example, if you went too high, if you brought the weight too over your body. You always have to think about where gravity is coming from when you're doing resistance training, when you're lifting weights, when you're using cables, using bands. Like if you look at my hands here, see the angle of the cable? If I went all the way up on top, there would be no tension. It would be balanced, right? Same thing here. If I did this seated row and I fully extended my arms and just let myself rest there, yes, there would be an isometric contraction in my rhomboids and everything in the back, but I really wouldn't be hitting the lats too much. Same thing even with the lat pull down. If I went fully up and just totally relaxed on top, you'd be taking the tension, off the lats a little bit. Not completely, but to some degree. So I'm keeping continuous tension, moving relatively slow. I like a relatively slow rep cadence. Okay. Now let's go to a little Q&A. I think we had a few people out there. Next time I plan on really announcing these live videos, I'm going to try to come up with a set time, and I'm also trying to diversify the YouTube channel a little bit. Obviously I know I got a following for intermittent fasting, and I love intermittent fasting. Me and my wife and all my clients, we've been doing it for years now, and I'm a big believer in it. But I also want to get into a little bit more exercise prescription on the channel, and I am going to gear it to more people, men and women both, over the age of 40, So it's all going to be safe movements, safe exercises. Oh, great. Anyone have any questions out there before I run here? Any questions about anything? It doesn't have to be about this routine. Could be about intermittent fasting. Could be about weight loss. Anything you want. You know, next time I'm definitely, like I said, I think I would have had a little bit of a bigger audience if I announced I was doing this video. Okay, it looks like we have no questions. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it all made sense to you. You know, this, I guess it's a little bit, you know, I guess, would you call this a beginner routine? Maybe not. Maybe this is a little bit more of an intermediate routine, a little more hypertrophy type routine. Now, you can easily simplify. So, let me pull it up here. For example, you can make this thing so simpler by, instead of doing 3 sets, just do 1 set. You know, you do 1 set of seated rows, 1 set of cable pullovers, 1 set of lat pull down. You know, great way to start if you just want, you know, something really simple to do. You know, if you want to try to do this routine at home, then I would recommend you get those resistance bands. You know, I did a video recently of like some home workout you can do with the bands. You know, you buy those spree bands. You have to just anchor the band, say in a doorway. You put it in a doorway, you sit on the chair, you do your seated rows, right? You anchor the band up high in the doorway, sit in the chair, you do your lat pull downs, right? You anchor it high, you do your pullovers. So you really can do this workout at home with bands. You don't have to necessarily go to the gym, you know? So, you know, maybe, I'm curious to see what everyone's saying. I'm curious to see if people like these videos. I also was thinking that instead of doing these videos for gym workouts, to purely do them for home workouts and only do them with bands. If you're more interested in that, you know, I'm trying to see what everybody wants. I could go in that direction and do all these videos and all these routines for home workouts, you know, with bands and with light dumbbells. That's another thing I'm thinking about doing. Okay, well, let me know. I hope you enjoyed this. Hope everyone's having a nice weekend. You know, hopefully this pandemic is gonna end soon. You know, the gym business is still very difficult. No one wants to come to my gym. Just a few people, my old, you know, just my clients that have been with me a long time. It's hard to get new people to come to the gym right now. People are still a little bit concerned, but hopefully the vaccination, you know, the vaccines are out there. They're getting distributed. Hopefully by summer, at least hopefully by the end of the summer, everything will be back to normal, I hope. Okay, well, take care, everyone. I hope everyone's staying healthy and happy. And thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Take care.